Welcome to the Two Girls and a Cup of Wellness podcast. I'm Marie. I'm a nurse practitioner committed to whole health care and helping my patients live vibrantly.
And I'm Chrissy, a yogi, breast cancer thriver, author of For the Love of Jugs, and guide for the mind, body, heart, soul healing. Together, we will empower you with integrative tools and real conversations. So grab your cup and dive into wellness with us.
Joanne is an incredible mother of two, and at 54 years old, she recently found herself at a turning point. After losing a very dear friend to cancer, Joanne began looking at her own health through a different lens. What started as grief became a powerful wake up call. Instead of ignoring that feeling, she chose to lean into it. Now, at 54, she's making the intentional decision to become more proactive about her health and her future. That journey led her to pursue advanced screening and imaging, and what she discovered shifted everything.
Today, she is here to share not only what she found, but what she's learned through the process. More importantly, Joanne wants to send a message to women, men, really everyone listening that our healthcare system is often reactive. And if we want better outcomes, we must become better advocates for our own health story. Her experience is honest, eye opening, and incredibly relatable. Joanne, we're so grateful you're here today and willing to share your story with us. Welcome. Hello, everyone, and welcome back for another Two Girls and a Cup of Wellness episode. My name is Chrissy.
And my name is Marie.
And we are super excited to bring another amazing guest onto our show. Our friend Joanne will be joining us. Hello, Joanne.
Hi.
How are
Thanks
you
for having
doing
me.
today?
Yeah.
I'm
Super excited.
great. Great to be here.
Good, 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 good. So, well, why don't you kind of
So
start?
today we're talking a lot about being proactive about your health. And sometimes when you go to your doctor, you ask lots of questions and they do just basically the simple things. And we want to become more proactive. And recently, Joanne just had a situation happen in her life where she's like, you know what, I'm going to go get some more testing. So, Joanne, talk about that.
Yeah, so recently, a good friend passed away, and she was very young, younger than when we all need to go and have all this testing looked at, and done, and speaking to our doctor. And just kind of made me think, I'm over 50, so I should probably start looking into things. And I had been seeing a lot of talk about this full body scan. There's the CT and the MRI. So I talked to my husband about it, and we decided to go and do it together. And it was shocking. You expect to come out of there thinking, okay, everything's going to be fine. We have a little aches and pains, but who doesn't over 50? And you can't escape family history, unfortunately. These things, if you have a family history or you have anything that you kind of worry about in the back of your mind, but you think, oh, I'll check it later, go now. So, some of those things did show themselves, not to the degree that, I need to worry completely yet, but it's something that should be on my radar and better to find out sooner than later rather than having to then play catch up later.
Yeah.
So there are things
Mhm.
that, I made doctor's appointments, for that things are being looked into. And
So, I'm
I
going
was
to
gonna
say,
say,
go
so
ahead, go ahead.
yeah.
just for our listeners, Joanne, did you go
Mhm.
to a doctor first or did you just walk into one of
Yeah,
these
I was going to say
scan
let's
places?
Oh,
let's
yeah.
backtrack a little bit, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I want to even know even further behind that or
Mhm.
further back. What was your lifestyle before, right? Before this life-changing event,
Mhm.
how were you in life? Were you an exerciser? Did you eat well? Do you meditate? Did you have some sort of really grounding practice?
So I've been doing yoga for 20 years. Um, I do Pilates, I do, weight classes, I go to the gym with friends, all of this. I walk, I eat, I would say healthier than most. I mean, I have kids, so of course, I have an occasional slip up and, I like sweets too. But I think that I do a pretty good job of watching what I eat. I've changed some of my lifestyle things, and detergent and all of these things and try
Hmm.
to, be a little healthier. I think that's what made it more surprising. But as far as the scan, the full body scan, they're popping up all over. We're in Florida, and there's been a lot of talk about these places. And there's a few different ones, and like I said, some are MRI, some are CT. I did the CT. The MRI is with contrast. It's more expensive, obviously more in depth, but the CT was very thorough. They hand you the CD. You're there about an hour. The scan takes about 2, 3 minutes. They hand you
Mhm.
the CD as
Mhm.
you walk out the door to take to your doctor. Within a couple of days, I got a full report of everything and things that I needed to discuss with a doctor. Some are no big deal, some are within guidelines, some sound scary to me, but are not. But it was very eye opening.
Yeah.
And it's, go ahead.
So I too had one done
Mhm,
last summer, and I love I love the idea and the concept of it. I love the
mhm,
idea of taking a proactive approach to our health. You'll never hear me say preventative care because this isn't going to prevent anything, but taking a proactive approach to understand your baseline, where you're at, how is your body functioning. And so I too did one of those scans. And the only thing that I think can be a little alarming to some is that when you do get that list of everything that's coming up, they don't have a doctor there to
Walk
talk
you
you
through
off a
it.
cliff or a
Mhm.
cliff
mhm,
or,
mhm.
walk you
Yeah,
through it,
Right.
right?
yeah.
You get this list of all different kinds of things. And like you said, some of them are really like something you got to look into and some are
Mhm,
probably not that big of a deal. But for the normal reader and the normal person who doesn't know all of these
Mhm.
lingo, it can be pretty like, oh my gosh, what is
oh,
going
yeah.
on? Right. And God forbid you Dr. Google yourself. That's the last thing that we
Right.
want you to do. No
Mhm.
Dr. Googling.
Right.
But that's the one thing that I think that I love the proactive approach to it, but I think they're missing the step there with not having that kind of in between. It's just no, just go take it to your doctor. And
Mhm.
with the way that Western medicine is, well, what doctor do you take it to? Because every
Mhm,
single doctor has a specific
Right.
part of their body that
That
they're
they work on
looking at.
a
Right.
specialty.
So
Mhm.
right.
it can get pretty scary. So
Yeah.
you took yours to your GP, your general practitioner?
No, so I am guilty of doing some of that. I went and started, researching, okay, who do I see for this? Who do I see for that? And a lot of it ended up being an endocrinologist. And that was kind of where I need to start. So I found a great endocrinologist. I checked reviews. I always do a lot of research before I make an appointment with anyone. And I did that. And I met with this doctor. We went over all of those things. And she sent me for so much blood work, and, I just had all of that done. I'm still waiting on some things that are still in progress, but I did get a lot of it back already, and so I'm looking over things, and there are a lot of baseline things, and things that are in the green. Of course, if you use Quest, you see the green, the red, and I'm sure other places do the same, but there were some red that were okay. I mean, okay, I know my ovaries have given up. They've thrown in the towel, and that's why some of my reds. And then now I will say that the vitamin D, which is very important, I've learned a lot about
Mhm.
that over the last week. My vitamin D is in the green and it's 30. Well, no one told me that it should be 80 or above.
Mhm.
And I'm learning that. And here I am in the green. And when I made a comment to my husband, he said, yours is 30, mine is 14. I was like,
Wow.
oh my gosh.
Wow.
So we are really bad as far as vitamin D and shocking. So we would never have expected that, especially the way he eats. We thought for sure that he would be okay. And so that's something that I did. I was fortunate enough back when I was 50, my doctor told me that she was sending me for a bone scan. So I had the bone scan done. It came back that I had osteoporosis.
Mm.
Shocking there too. And I'm so grateful because we're always told that, you need to go and do that when you're 70. Nobody needs to
Mhm.
have a bone scan. Well, my doctor said, no, women who are going through perimenopause should have that done. And it turns out there is a correlation to perimenopause and bone loss. And so everyone should go and have that done or at least get your vitamin D tested in a blood test, one or the other, but
Yes.
Mhm.
start the process in your 40s because a lot of us are all some women start perimenopause in their 30s, but that needs to be done and we need to change the mindset of waiting until you're 70 when it's too late
It's too
and
Right.
late,
you've now
right.
had 20 years of osteoporosis. So,
Right, because
it's
there's
huge and
things that we
there's
can start doing
Right.
now.
right.
At an
Yes.
early age. I was
Mhm.
just watching this really amazing cancer series, about 10 episodes, and just talking about the importance of start now, eating well,
Mhm.
having a good mindset,
Right.
being a more, getting yourself grounded, being more connected to your body,
Mhm.
Active with a lifestyle.
active
Yeah.
lifestyle,
Don't wait.
and
Mhm.
exactly. And I just think a lot of people do wait until it's too late, right?
Right.
It's
Yes.
the reactive care. Oh gosh,
Mhm.
something's wrong now. Now I got to start making all of these changes. But when
And it's
we
harder to make the
it,
changes.
it absolutely
But it's
is.
not undoable
Mhm.
for those
No,
people that are later in
No.
life. Absolutely. I see
Mhm. No.
70-year-olds
Yeah.
lifting weights.
yeah.
In your
But wait,
30s, you
but let
start
me
to
say
lose.
this.
Mhm.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I thought that lifting weights was going to be, the answer. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I go to the gym so often." But that I ended up going for my second one, and I'm worse. So it's not about just lifting weights, and that's when I just found out about my vitamin D being so low. So that's
Mhm.
where I need to really focus and
So
put
the
my focus.
bones, I'm gonna geek out on you guys for a minute.
I love when
Yeah,
she geeks out.
So the
please. I
bones have
know.
these cells, I love them. There's the osteoblasts, and I always remember this from undergrad, B builds bone. They're making your bone,
Mm,
and your osteoclasts break down your bone, and there's a whole big pathophysiology process that happens in different, electrolytes that take place as well. But when you are stressing your bone, think of compaction, you are stimulating those osteoblasts to build bone. When we have estrogen and it's beautiful, all the
mhm,
normal levels until about 10 years until you hit like menopause,
Mhm.
perimenopause can be 10 years beforehand. Estrogen stimulates blasts. So as the estrogen decreases, that slows down that process. So it's running, it's really stressing those bones out. However, you don't want to do that when you have osteoporosis, just
mhm,
because you don't want to cause a
right.
fracture. But, I mean, it could be as simple as walking. Now, where the muscle takes into place, just to look at the two, is as we get older, our muscle mass starts to decrease naturally in the 30s, like I said. And muscle, it keeps our metabolism where it needs to be and also supports the bones.
Mhm. And the
So
energy of our
that's
body
where,
too.
right,
Yeah, the
metabolism,
mitochondria.
energy,
Mhm,
keep things where they need to be. A lot of the conversations that me and Chrissy have is there's so many different things at play. When we start talking about vitamin D, it's absorbing the calcium that we take orally, right? Tablet, either through food, it absorbs it and then it needs to get to the bone. So how does it get into the bone? And that's vitamin K. So a
mhm.
lot of different things happening. If you don't have the vitamin K that's high enough, then that calcium can get deposited in the vessels.
Right, then it's just, like,
It's
freely roaming around,
wild.
Right.
right? Right, right, and that's why I think it's
Mhm,
so important to understand that each of us are a different person, our
Mhm.
genetics are different, and not everything that any diseases and cancers and stuff like that are not always genetics, right? There's a lot that comes into play about, of
mhm,
why things express themselves, and a lot of
And that's
times
the
it's
epigenetics.
epigenetics, right?
Mhm.
It's the toxins,
Gene
it's how your
expression.
lifestyle, but for the longest time, especially around cancer, for the longest time, people thought, oh, well, does it run in your family? You know how many questions, do you know how many times I get asked that every time I told
mhm.
somebody I had breast cancer? Every day. Is it in your family? No, but mine wasn't genetic,
I think
right? So,
people need
Right.
that cause and effect, that reason, that logic
sure.
in their brain to say, well, this happened because of this. And then all of a sudden, if they can't, it frustrates the brain, right? There's
Yeah.
a beginning to the day, there's an end to the day. So when you can't find a reason for why something happens,
Mhm.
it's unsettling, right?
Sure, sure.
Well, and
And
also
that's,
we wanna be able to say, "Oh, it's not gonna happen to me. No one in
Right.
my family got that."
yeah.
But a
Hmm.
lot of it is environmental also,
Yeah.
you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
So
that's why I
mhm,
asked you in the beginning, how in tune were your body? How healthy of a lifestyle were you living beforehand? Because I know when I got diagnosed with breast cancer, I I was teaching yoga and doing yoga all the time and working out and lifting weights and doing cardio and eating
mhm,
fairly well, and I still got cancer. And that is a story I hear time and time and time and time again. However, if you take my situation and you compare me to somebody who eats Doritos and burgers and sodas every single day and doesn't get off the couch and just sits and watches TV and doesn't do anything to help them grow or move or really get out and live life,
Hmm.
guess what? When that person is diagnosed with whatever it is, their whole road, their whole journey is going to be much more difficult than anybody else's, right? Because of eating and moving and everything, it helps to support your body beforehand. So when something does happen, guess what? It's still strong enough to go ahead and heal and work through
Right.
whatever it is that you are diagnosed with. So
Right.
I so appreciate your, proactive approach to your life, and sometimes, and not sometimes, a lot of times it takes something really shocking and traumatizing for us to do that. Unfortunately, in our country, in our
Mhm.
Yeah.
society, it takes that. We
Mhm.
wait. And it's like, why do
Right.
we wait? It's just because we didn't know. We really, I think right now, sorry, not to hop on a soapbox or anything like that, but it really just,
Mm.
it frustrates me because
Yeah.
I don't want people to wait until they're sick. We can start to do little things day by day to help
Yeah.
in our health and take that proactive approach.
Definitely.
I'll get
Yeah.
off my
Yeah.
soapbox now.
So, Joanne, you're seeing the one endocrinologist, correct? Have you
Correct.
seen anybody else?
I have not. I was waiting on all of the blood work to come back. It's
Mhm.
almost back, all of it. And then I have another appointment with the endocrinologist. And then I need to see a few other doctors related to some other things that were found. And it could be nothing. It could turn out to be nothing. And
Mhm.
hopefully that is the case. But the good thing is I'm going to find out now. And if it's something, I do know that there is one thing that we need to watch already that was mentioned at my appointment. I do have a lesion on my adrenal gland, and it could be nothing. A lot of
Mhm.
people have them. If it grows,
Mhm.
yes, but we're gonna check it with contrast in 6 months and see, look more into it, and we'll go from there, but this is fantastic. So now I know it's on the radar. It could be
Yeah, you got your
nothing and
baseline.
then fantastic, but I can sleep now because so many times at night I wake up and I'm like, "Oh my gosh," you wake up in the middle of the night, 3 AM, best time to think, right? And you're thinking, "Oh my gosh,
Your
what
liver's
about this? Oh, I
working.
have a pain here. Yeah, I have a pain here. What is that? What is this?" And you start thinking, your mind starts racing. But this has definitely put my mind at ease in a lot of ways. Whether it turns out good or bad, I took the
Mhm.
approach. I'm only 54, so, I have the time to take care of it.
Mhm.
So, and for my family, for my children that are very young.
Yeah,
So, it's important.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Oh, what other type of either natural approaches are you doing? Have you changed your diet? Have you brought in more either spiritual healing or energetic healing or going down the natural
Um,
path?
Well, I do go to yoga a lot. I love yoga. I have done that, like I said, for 20 years. It's one of my favorite
Beautiful.
things.
Mine
So I
too.
do that. Yeah. And I don't jump out of bed in the morning so quickly. I lay there, I stretch, I think about things. I try to be mindful. I talk myself into what kind of day I'm going to have, Um, take some deep breaths, do some breathing, things like that. And I try to do that throughout the day. Um, there's a lot of things going on with the kids and driving. I'm an Uber
Sure.
driver. I'm a this, I'm a that, but you can still make the time. Even if you're in the car by yourself and you're driving, you can still take those deep breaths. You can turn the radio off and have that time. Um, but health food wise, I mean, I don't eat much meat. I've never really been a meat eater. So I do try to supplement in other ways with everything. And,
You had mentioned that you
just
changed your laundry detergent.
oh, I did. I did. I
You
changed
figured
my
that.
laundry detergent.
Mhm.
I had gone to the free and clear type of thing first, right?
Mhm.
You kind of take it in steps. You're like, oh,
Sure.
okay, I'm doing a great thing here. But that too has so many bad things in it. It's just different bad things.
Yeah.
So then I started going to laundry sheets that are free of all of that. And I thought, okay, my family is going to be opposed to this. Everybody likes to see the bubbles. And so I'm like, okay, there are no bubbles here, but I promise it's doing the job. No one has complained.
That's
I'm
good.
amazed. Everything is coming out clean, even with kids. So far, so good. And we're going through it. My husband is using it. And usually he's the first one to say, oh, he wants to smell that strong
Fragrance.
scent of
Yeah.
like, okay, it
Yeah.
went, yeah.
Mhm.
So, everything is working out. So little by little, I slip in a few things here and there for everybody, but
Yeah, and
But
I
yeah,
think that's
no pushback.
the ripple effect, right?
It's the small
Yes.
One
changes.
person
Mhm.
starting some of these testings, whether
Mhm.
it's the scans or the MRIs or the blood test or whatever type of approach you're going to take to understand what's
Mhm.
going on more at a cellular level for yourself. Once you do that and once you start to learn more and more about what's going on with you, we do start to make these changes, but then it starts to go out. Okay, now your family's starting to understand and your kids are starting to
Mhm.
understand that fragrance isn't good and all of these toxins. If you can't read things, then we probably shouldn't be eating them,
Right.
right?
Right.
And it just starts to
It
go
starts you
from
start
there.
to critically think.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
just a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
I was with my friend, and I borrowed some breadcrumbs for her. Ugh, I can't talk, from her. And I said, why do these breadcrumbs live on the shelf for, like, 18 months?" So I started
Oh my
reading it,
gosh, yeah.
and one of the ingredients in there, I mean, it causes, like, gut inflammation and issues
Mhm.
with children, and how hard is it to make breadcrumbs? It's not hard at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just you
Yeah.
start thinking, and you think, "I should have known those things beforehand," but you don't, questioning.
Ca
What's kind of cool
well,
about that?
carrageenan is in everything too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say what's really
Toothpaste.
cool about that is that's like bringing it back to the basics, like
The
simplifying
natural
life
life,
again.
right?
Mhm.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Mhm.
Like you actually toasted bread, threw it in a blender, and voila, you have
Like
breadcrumbs,
breadcrumbs.
right? You
Mhm.
can season it to your liking and you know what it is.
Mhm.
And there is just something very cool about simplifying.
Right, and there's
Mhm.
that shift, right? We
Yeah.
wanted feminism, right? The
Mm.
bra burners,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
then we got our jobs and we got to vote, and now guess what?
Exactly.
There's this life of
Yep.
convenience. Now we have all these TV dinners. That was the outbreak of
Yeah.
that, and now look at all these things that are so convenient for us, and they're killing us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't wanna
Here's the
take away my
thing.
voting rights,
Yeah.
Yeah. But it
No,
is
of
saying
course
that
not.
there's no.
But it is kinda
Yeah.
cool though, because I think, Joanne, I don't know how young or old your children are, but my children are right now in their early 20s, and
Mm.
I know my daughter in particular loves to cook every meal from scratch now. She doesn't love to
Mm.
go out. It's already starting to
Mhm.
affect
Happen.
Yeah.
our
Small
younger
changes.
generation.
Harry's the
Yeah.
same way.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
listening. Changes are gonna
Yeah.
be
No,
made.
my son loves to cook, so he's always cooking his meals. We have a crock pot. There's no excuse. I tell them, "Throw it in there, it can sit and cook all day," and,
Mhm.
I make my own bread. I mean, well, look, we just found out that they found Roundup
I
in all of
know, that
these.
was on the
I mean, that's
news.
terrible. So, we make our own bread. We've been doing that for a very long time, since my kids were young, and, not all the time. I mean, sometimes bread is a little bit of a process, so it's not always available.
Do you have a
But
bread
there's
machine, Joanne?
I do have a bread machine. I do both kinds. I do it
Okay,
with the
because
bread
that's
machine, and
really
then I do
easy.
some that are no knead. So
Mhm.
easy.
You
So I
both
do a
are
no knead, and
amazing.
I do
I
some
haven't
bread
hopped on that
machine
yet.
ones. Oh, it's amazing. Once you get
Well,
started,
it's
listen,
interesting.
Jesus used to do it. I'm like, this Jesus did this. This is
Jesus.
fantastic.
When Paul
Like,
moved
whoo.
here from England and we bought bread, he said, "It tastes like sugar," and I'm eating it, and I
Yeah,
said, "What do you taste the sugar?" And he said, "There's too much
yeah,
sugar in here."
Mhm.
So that's when we
yeah,
purchased a bread machine, and he started making it, and it's just we've always
yeah,
had one. And now
yeah.
I can taste the sugar. I can taste the sweetness
Oh,
of white
yeah.
bread in America. It's
Mm.
Yeah,
crazy.
my husband's from another country too, and he was appalled when he saw how many things are bought in a store from a shelf and sitting there, and you can leave it sit for months, and his mother would always tell me, "Look at the ingredients. This is so bad for you." And, slowly, you start to find how to do it. I mean, my kids are high school and middle school. So, you start to figure out how to maneuver around the time frames of things and where you can find the time. And you can still work and do these things, throw
You
something together
can.
in the morning before you start work. And yeah,
Yeah, being more
it's
organized,
Right.
right?
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Once
preparing.
you start doing it little by little, you realize, okay, this isn't so bad, and you
It's a
figure out the
habit.
things that you figure out what
Right.
you can make and what things, okay, I'm going to cheat a little bit with this organic, whatever. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, now
And
my
I
kids have certain things and they're like, oh, like you said, too sweet. We use a very organic tomato sauce or I make my own. So now they don't
Mhm.
like a lot of things. They don't like
Right.
pizza from certain places. We make
yeah,
our own.
Mhm.
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's really important for people. I think we say this on every one of our podcasts so far is that to make this digestible, we got to start somewhere, right? And
Mhm.
Mhm.
nobody is perfect. And things are always still going to happen, right? We can try our best that we can, but we have to be healthy on all different levels. So I think it's important for us, each of us, to maybe take one thing a week and see, well, what can I switch out, or what new recipe can I
Right.
make?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Or what can I try to make this week as opposed to just going to the store and buying it? Or where can I prepare dinner, throw it in the crock pot once a week and make sure that I'm eating at home more and healthier meals?
Mhm.
But we got to start somewhere,
Mhm.
you know?
Yep.
A great start is the Yuka app. I mean, I'm sure
Mm.
some people don't like it, but I use that with a lot of things, and it teaches me.
What is that?
It
I have
makes
never
me
heard of that.
It's a
oh,
carrot.
it looks like a carrot, and, yeah, and you scan the barcode, and, even on, beauty supplies, it will tell
Mhm.
you what's harmful in it. Not
Yeah, it's similar
everything
to
is in there yet.
EWG.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah,
There's a lot of different
um,
things in it.
but it's great, and it's actually taught my kids. So I have them use it because it's helping them make better choices. And, it shows amount of sugars and certain things that are in there. Some things are not that bad, but there are red flags to look for and say, okay,
Mhm.
listen, you can find something that's a little bit better. But it's a good place to start if you don't know where to start,
That's
and you can
great.
learn from it.
That's
Mhm.
great.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So if there were three things other than the app that you could encourage our listeners to do to start to change for their proactive health, whether it is go schedule scanning or blood work or start a new hobby or whatever, what would three things that just come to mind?
Oof, I've got so many, but I'll try to.
You could
So,
do
3
more if you want,
things.
maybe five.
Well, we've talked about a lot of them, but I would definitely say one of the most important things, and not everybody has the money to go do the full body scan. You can use your HSA, which is great. If you can do that, I think that's a great place to start if you have some serious worries. If you really have a family history of things that you need to look more into, I think that's a great place. Blood work is always great. And I would say definitely your vitamin D. Get your blood work done and check your vitamin D levels. Make sure they're near 80, over 80. I think that's very
Mhm.
important. If you can do the bone scan, it's probably more than 3, but yeah, just to, talk to your doctor. If your doctor tells you you don't need a bone scan and that's crazy, I think you need to push for it and get that done because you need to get that done in your 40s, 50s. Find out from your mother when she went
Mhm.
through menopause. That's important too. A lot of that is hereditary. If you have the luxury of asking your mother that, then
Mhm.
find out and take hold of your health in your 30s and 40s.
Yeah. Be
Yeah.
your own advocate,
Yeah.
Right,
right?
and
Don't
we're
wait until you're
noticing some of
60.
these scans are
Mhm.
coming earlier and earlier.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's like they're always changing the standard of care, and what does that tell
Mhm.
you?
Yeah. I
Things
Yeah.
are
mean,
happening earlier and
things
earlier
are
to
Yeah.
happening
people.
earlier
Yeah.
and earlier. And
Yeah.
I think there's also, um, we need to recognize the difference between a diagnostic tool and a preventative or proactive tool,
Mhm.
Mhm.
right? So a lot of these tools are not necessarily diagnostic tools, right? I, I mean, obviously, a CT scan and an MRI can be, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
But
But
if they see something, they need to do a biopsy, then
right.
that's more
And that's
diagnostic.
where I
Mhm.
think working
Right.
with your doctor or naturopathic doctor or functional medicine doctor would be,
Mhm.
Mhm.
great. But for the average human that just wants to get a baseline and understand their body, the CT scan, that body scan that you're talking about, or an MRI with contrast, is going to just at least kind of give a baseline and highlight areas that are of maybe possible concern or just to watch, right?
Mhm.
Doesn't necessarily mean that if something comes back, oh my gosh, it's cancer, right?
Right. Mhm.
It
Right.
could be. That's why obviously taking it a next step and having somebody actually read it is
Mhm.
good.
Mhm.
But there's a huge difference between diagnostic tools and actually proactive tools. Cause like even like thermography, thermography is not a
Right.
diagnostic tool. It's
Right.
more of baseline, understanding where your inflammation is at and keeping track of that. Right. So just because you get inflamed somewhere doesn't mean you have breast cancer, or if there's
Right.
flu around your heart,
Mhm.
something may be going on in the veins. But again, it's not diagnosing
Right.
you to where you got to be so scared right off the bat.
Right.
right? Take a deep breath when you
Yeah.
get those and
Yeah, which is hard to do. It's
it
hard to do.
is. It
It
is.
and if you can ask family members, because a lot of them don't talk about it, different generation, they didn't speak about health.
Mm,
Ask the questions. Ask your parents, what happened? How did this person pass away? And take that information and really, hone in on it because it's your history, it's your family history, and it could be yours. So
Mhm.
you need to really think about that. And there's so many things I wish I had asked my parents, but I didn't think about it then. I was younger. Now I'm, so upset that I didn't ask more questions, but I do know what I know, and I am really using that to my advantage with all of this. So ask the questions and know as much as you can before
yeah.
it's too
Yeah,
late.
it's beautiful, Joanne.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it really
Thank you.
is. It really
Yeah.
is. Ah, well,
Thank
this
Alright,
was
you.
a
everybody. This is
wonderful,
great.
wonderful conversation. Thank you so much, Joanne,
Thank
for
you. Thank
sharing
you. I
your
appreciate it.
story. Yeah, it's not
Thank you.
easy to share our story, right?
Mm-mm.
But when we know that we can make an impact for others,
Yeah.
it's like we have to do our due diligence and
Yes.
share the
Yeah,
story.
for
So I
sure.
honor you and I appreciate you and thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
Thank
much. I
you.
appreciate both of you. Thank you.
Alright.
All right, guys. Well,
Take
until
care.
next
Yep.
time.
All
Thank you.
right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.